Hello and welcome to Chabot News for March 30th, 2023. My name is Bruce and today we'll be covering the possible indictment of Donald Trump, the status of the Los Angeles Unified School District strike, and catch up with some spring breakers. We'll also be covering sports as well, and as the latest entertainment news. All that and more coming up on Chabot News. Former President Donald Trump is ramping up attacks on Manhattan District Attorney as he awaits possible indictment. He's accusing Alvin Bragg of everything from those prosecutorial misconduct to election interference. So who is Alvin Bragg? The man who might be the first to hand down an indictment to an ex-president. CNN's Brian Gringus reports.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg could argue he's recently had reasons to, well, brag.
So help me God.
He's the first black person to lead that office. He won a major tax fraud case brought against the Trump Organization last year.
This was a case about lying and cheating.
But now in just his second year of holding office, he may become the first prosecutor to indict a U.S. president. Bragg always remained mum on the possibility of criminal charges against Donald Trump for his role in a hush money scheme.
The last thing I want to do is run afoul of any rules or in any way negatively impact our investigation.
Internally, Bragg isn't backing down as the pressure in the case builds. He recently told his staff in a memo he would, quote, not tolerate attempts to intimidate our office, as Trump repeatedly calls him out by name on social media while also denying any wrongdoing.
I imagine Alvin to be putting his head down and just looking very carefully and methodically at all of the facts in the case.
An indictment would be a culmination in a nearly 5-year-long investigation that began when Bragg's predecessor, Cy Vance, held the office. It's been a rocky road getting to this point.
I bring hard cases when they are ready.
2 senior prosecutors in his office resigned last year when Bragg signaled he wouldn't pursue criminal charges against Trump.
I think the evidence was there. This is not a personal issue or a fight. It's a disagreement about prosecution policy.
Bragg ramped up the Trump investigation this year while continuing to weather major criticism about being soft on crime in New York City. Last year, an internal memo surfaced urging his team to not prosecute certain low-level offenses. It came the same week the city buried 2 police officers killed on duty.
I know you were tired of these laws, especially the ones from the new DA.
The former federal prosecutor is Harlem-raised, Harvard-educated, and while his current role thrusts him into the political spotlight, he maintains he is a lawyer at heart, once representing the family of Eric Gardner and fighting for numerous social justice causes on his way to the DA seat.
I've been advocating for changes to the law so that police can be held accountable.
But no bigger battle than now, as Bragg may make history once again.
Thanks, Brian. Former President Trump is currently under investigation in several jurisdictions around the country, and indictments may soon be handed down. The second largest school district in the U.S. canceled classes Tuesday, March 21st. There wasn't enough staff to keep the Los Angeles schools running. 30,000 workers are on strike after nearly a year of failed contract negotiations between the union and the Los Angeles Unified School District. Here's CNN's Nick Watt with the latest.
More than 500,000 kids will not be going to school today. The second largest district in the nation, more than 1,000 schools in all, shut down by this strike, called by the union that reps the bus drivers, cafeteria workers, special ed assistants, and custodians. Like Jose Tovar, whose current wage puts him below the poverty line.
We're not asking for the world, but just to live above water.
1 in 3 of our members is either homeless or has been houseless while working for LAUSD.
Their union is demanding large pay hikes, more full-time jobs, more staff, and, quote, respectful treatment. Some parents are sympathetic.
We have some of our most underpaid workers doing some of the most challenging jobs on our campuses.
The district made an offer including a pay rise, but only half the 30% demanded.
Under California law, we cannot drive the school system into a bankruptcy position. And if we were to acquiesce to all of the demands, that is exactly where we would be. That is not legally allowable.
So 500,000 kids don't go to school while the adults argue.
I support my kids, and ultimately I feel that they're probably being left behind in a battle between adults.
Apparently, it's gotten ugly. The district calls this strike illegal, claiming it's all about the money, not the other stuff. Union leaders deny that and claim during this whole process, the district subjected workers to surveillance, intimidation, and harassment.
Some have been harassed to the point where they've lost their job, they've lost income.
We have not been presented with compelling evidence that there's widespread abuses. Are there issues? Yes. Each one of them is vigorously investigated and consequences are applied.
During the strike, there will be some childcare provided at a few schools and parks and boxed lunches for the many who rely on free school meals.
Fighting for justice!
The union claims 96% of its 30,000 or so members who work in the district voted for this, a strike scheduled to last 3 days. So, barring any breakthroughs, there's no school till Friday.
Thanks, Nick. A tentative contract agreement was reached Friday, March 24th, and classes were resumed. As of this recording, classes are expected to remain open for the first of the school year. Amazon is laying off another 9,000 office workers in the second major downsizing for the tech giant since last fall. The company has now cut around 27,000 jobs in total. The office worker layoffs include more than 400 at its San Francisco-based video game streaming division, Twitch, along with its Amazon Web Services, People Experience, and Technology and Advertising divisions. The Twitch layoffs came just as co-founder and CEO Emmett Shear resigned. Mr. Shear said after having worked for Amazon for 16 years, he wanted to spend time with his new son. 3 suspects were arrested, including a 16-year-old, in connection with an armed robbery. The robbery took place around 2 p.m. Friday, March 24th on Amazon Street in San Francisco. 2 suspects allegedly approached a woman and robbed her at gunpoint, taking her purse and a rosary from her neck. The suspects then fled in a getaway car, waiting for them. The woman and other witnesses were able to give police descriptions of the suspects and the getaway car. Police were able to take one suspect into custody immediately, while the other 2 ran away. During a foot chase, one of the suspects tried to ditch a loaded gun. Both of the fleeing suspects were apprehended and taken into custody. All 3 men are facing charges of robbery, gun possession, and possession of stolen property. The 2 suspects that fled also charged with resisting arrest. It's time for some entertainment news, and for that, I hand it off to Evan.
Thanks, Bruce. Keanu Reeves is back on the big screen in the 4th film of the John Wick franchise. Rick Damigella reports.
Saying goodbyes?
Saying hello. An assassin's quest for freedom and peace continues in John Wick Chapter 4.
You're going to die. Maybe not.
We have a visionary director in Chad Stahelski and very inventive. And I think the cast in this film is spectacular. We have so many new characters. We're opening up the world. I think the action is inventive.
If everybody gets a little better, I think that's why the movies show it, because I think I have a group of people that actually want to keep getting better and exploring their careers. And if you get the right people together, at least that's my theory, the movies get a little better.
But a good death only comes after a good life.
Chad called me. I created a role for you. The role of long old friend of John Wick. Oh my goodness, that's perfect for me.
The sense of responsibility that comes with joining a franchise that's so beloved, coming to the 4th installment, I had to make sure I was on my A game.
How goes the grand farewell tour?
Coming to an end.
The film once again reunites Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne.
When you consider 9 months it took to shoot this movie, that's a long time, dude. And his judo's gotten really, really, like, it's next level judo in this one.
The only way John Wick will ever have freedom and peace is in death.
Yeah, not really.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Thanks, Rick. Don't forget to buy your tickets now. Another change is coming to popular TV show Dancing with the Stars. Former contestant and judge Julianne Hough will serve as a co-host during this upcoming season 32. Hough is a two-time champion, winning the show's 4th and 5th seasons. She's been affiliated with the show for 17 years. She'll replace controversial host Tyra Banks, who took over in 2020. Hough will be paired with Alfonso Ribeiro, who joined the show last year. Hough posted on social media that she is honored to be rejoining the show. She says it holds a special place in her heart from the many years she's been associated with the program. That's going to do it for this week's entertainment news. I'm Evan. Now back to you, Bruce.
Thank you, Evan. Rumors have it that this may be the last John Wick movie starring Keanu Reeves, but you'll have to go to see it to find out. Turning to the local Hayward news, the Alameda County Superior Court is currently seeking a pool of 30 applicants to serve on the Alameda County Civil Grand Jury. The Civil Grand Jury is impaneled each fiscal year to investigate local government for the purposes of ensuring agencies are working in the interests of the public. Ultimately, 19 jurors will be selected randomly from a pool to be impaneled starting July 1st. To be considered for service on the grand jury, please call the court's executive officer at 510-924-3800. Applications must be received no later than May 5th, 2023. In Chabot College news, our very own Art 45 class here at Chabot College has been having an art show open on the campus the last 2 weeks. Here's Angelisa Dominguez with more information.
Chabot College's Art 45 class created an art show on campus to share their work. With the help of each other, they made the art and curated the show themselves, the theme being fantasy versus natural beauty. We got to speak with a few of the artists there who shared their experience and the idea behind their art. Here's one of them now.
These are some art pieces that I've done. It's a new type of clay that changes into this black color, so it's very interesting. It's called Abyssinian clay, and I'm very interested in black art, so this is kind of my trademark. I do a lot of.
The art show was held in Building 1000 in room 1002. If you're interested in creating art and don't know where to begin, or you're planning on going into the art field, Chabot College has many classes available, as can be seen on their official website. Bobby Wise mentions the other classes she's taking.
I'm also a sculpture student, and I'm also taking color theory and portfolio class.
There are a diverse selection of classes you can take at Chabot, ranging from painting, pottery, ceramics, graphic design, animation, photography, drawing, and more.
My role in the art show, I'm a professor here at Chabot. I teach painting and drawing classes, and I'm also teaching the Art 45 class, which is a artist portfolio and promotion. And the students in the class came up with the theme for the show. They designed the show. They hung all the artwork for the show. And I was there as a facilitator to help them.
If you like to be surrounded by other artists and share your work, Chabot College is a great way to do so. You can sign up for the upcoming semester. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for listening. I'm Angelisa Dominguez, reporting for Chabot TV.
Thank you, Angelisa. The art show ends this week, but if you missed it, don't worry, as it definitely won't be the last one. This week is spring break at Chabot College. There will be no classes held between April 3rd and April 8th. We send our reporter sent our reporter Don Wright out to cover the story, and he turned in the following report.
Spring break, the mere mention of which brings to mind sun and fun and partying on the beach. And this year, the trade association, Airlines for America, is expecting more than 158 million passengers to travel, a volume that will surpass 2019's pre-pandemic levels.
We can pretty well expect that those predictions to come true. And the reason why is that for each of the 2 months so far in 2023, you have seen travel numbers exceed the same month in 2019.
This may be the cause of some of the increasing amount of violence related to spring break this year. Earlier this month, 2 people were shot and killed on Miami Beach, Florida. But this has not abated some determined partygoers.
I make sure that my surroundings are safe. I'm with a friend at least, a best friend, a close friend, and my phone is always charged.
I feel safer here than in my country, so I'm not that worried.
However, not everyone is convinced that this is the right time to step out for an elaborate vacation.
For spring break, I will be celebrating my birthday with a couple friends, so have that to look forward to. And I think I'm just going to enjoy a good time off because it's been a pretty heavy semester.
So are you going anywhere?
No, I'm not going anywhere far.
Even know what I'm doing for spring break? Not too sure. Haven't planned anything.
Is there a reason for that? Is it because of all the problems they're having, or just because of that?
I just haven't thought about it.
Another factor that is keeping students from traveling this year may be the persistent bad weather we have had in the Bay Area and around the country.
It's been rough. I mean, we have 2 days of good weather, 5 days of bad weather. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad.
It is not surprising that some students are seeking adventure closer to home.
Well, I'm planning on going to San Francisco, maybe once or twice, visit the food stores there, the libraries and stuff like that, Just a personal experience, I guess.
I don't really have any plans for spring break. Just going to be hanging out around the city and stuff.
I'm doing this Encore thing right now, this internship, so I'm mostly focused on that, doing 3D drawings for those.
Reporting for KTCH, Chabot News, Channel 27, I'm Don Wright.
Thanks, Don. Luckily, the National Weather Service is calling for mild weather with partly cloudy skies for the Bay Area next week during the Chabot College spring break. So it should be perfect time for students to get out and have some good old hometown fun. Now let's turn it over to Jonathan for a look at this week's sports news.
Thanks, Bruce. This week we have 2 sports-related stories involving teens. First, while most 17-year-olds are preparing for college, Liam Gardner was preparing for a different adventure, a biking journey across the Americas. On August 1st, 2021, the experienced cyclist started his trip to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, the northernmost point in the U.S. accessible by road. His goal? Get to Ushuaia, Argentina, the southernmost point of South America. When Gardner left, all he had was a tent, a sleeping bag, a day's worth of food and water, some portable batteries, a medical kit, and extra parts for his bike. He also had a budget of $430 a month. For most of the journey, Gardner was biking alone, and at times, he considered giving up, like when he was robbed in Mexico and struggled with the extreme heat, or when he spent a month in the hospital after an accident. But Gardner persevered, and on January 10th, he made it to Ushuaia. Gardner says it felt somewhat anticlimactic, but he just cared that he got there after biking through 14 countries, nearly 20,000 miles over 527 days. Gardner, now 19 years old, is backpacking back to California with his partner Chloe. His bike is being shipped home. As for his next adventure, Gardner is planning to write a book about his adventure. For our second story, after years of frustration, a Michigan teen's search for shoes that fit him over a 6'10", Eric Gilburn needs size 24 shoes. Jillian Felton explains how national footwear brands jumped in to help.
Eric Kilburn already stands out on the football field. At 6'10", his height gives him an advantage, but it's the size of his feet holding him back.
It's been painful. To say the least, it's been hellish. Just not having shoes that fit perfectly. It's just been constant pain.
The 14-year-old can't find cleats, and his size 23 bright yellow sneakers, well, those are even too small.
It's pretty unusual.
Which is why this guy is here.
Okay, so this is a last. We call this a last.
Rob Kropp is the Senior Director for Product Development at Under Armour.
I've been in this industry almost 30 years, and I have never seen anything bigger than a 22. Personally, I've never worked on anything bigger than around a 20.
Turns out Eric's shoe size is unique even to sneaker execs.
I don't have Eric's exact size figured out yet. We need a couple more days to figure that out, but obviously he's going to be the largest shoe we've ever built.
Kropp flew to Michigan to get a proper measurement of Eric's feet, which included a digital scan, because making a shoe big enough for this teenager is no easy task.
We're gonna build the shoes from the ground up, and we've got to build the machinery, or the tooling we call it, to make the shoes, and it's gonna take us probably about 6 to 8 weeks to get all that done.
Eric's parents are overwhelmed.
My hopelessness has been replaced with joy and relief, and that's a priceless feeling.
It's been fantastic, from going to from where we were 10 days ago to where we are now. It's truly nothing short of a miracle.
And Eric, he's looking forward to the football season.
I'm going to be able to play better on the field. I'm going to have shoes that I'm comfortable in, no blisters, no ingrown toenails, none of that stuff.
And wow, that's pretty amazing. Thanks, Jillian. I hope those new shoes help him out. That's all for this week's sports news. I'm Jonathan Piper II, and now back to you, Bruce.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was great. Okay, let's wrap this up with some good news. If you're looking for a reason to renovate, here's one you never know what you'll find out behind the walls. A couple in northern England was remodeling their apartment kitchen when the workers found 2 murals believed to be nearly 400 years old behind the walls. Historic England, a public body that looks after the country's historic environment, says the art is from the 17th century. They depicted a biblical scene. Historic England is assisting in having the murals documented and will look after them for the couple. The couple was given the high-quality life-size replica of the murals, which the couple says they've incorporated into their decor. Their apartment is part of a Georgian building dating back to 1747. And now to our final story about 2 teenage sisters who are being honored for saving 2 young boys from an icy pond. The city of West Des Moines, Iowa recognized 15-year-old Jasmine Morris and 17-year-old Jacora Morris last Monday. They were in their apartment building a few weeks ago when they saw the 2 children fall through the ice. The teens ran downstairs and found one boy trapped beneath the ice with just a finger up. They plunged into the icy water and saved the children. First responders said the boys might have died if the teen girls hadn't rescued them. The sisters say they acted on instinct and never thought they'd receive an award for their bravery. That's all for Chabot News. This week, thanks all the students and staff in the Mass Communications Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTH Channel 27 for more Chabot TV.